So you're selling final expense prospects, running across a lot of young people that have all sorts of health conditions, and you're having a hard time selling them a plan that can cover them. So you're looking for maybe some kind of guaranteed issue coverage that will cover people under 50. So let's talk about it. My name is David Duford, owner of Duford Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents nationally to sell things like final expense, Medicare, and annuities, both face-to-face and over the phone. So the topic of today's video is to give you some advice on what carriers to use when you're running into people who are under the age of 50 that are health compromised, that need coverage in place that usually kind of has to fit into a guaranteed issue type of scenario. So what I'm going to do is rattle off some carriers that I commonly recommend. Specifically, where probably most of y'all are experienced are in the 40 to 49-year-old range. And then I'll throw in a couple of carriers in the kind of 20s to mid-20s age and up that aren't necessarily guaranteed issue, but can be pretty close depending on the circumstances. So the two carriers at least that I have in mind for the 40 to 49-year-old age that are working really good for final expense agents is Great Western and Guarantee Trust Life. So Great Western is a guaranteed issue carrier. It's a no questions asked setup to get you a 2-year return of premium plan with a 10% interest return to the beneficiary plus premiums, of course, if the client dies within the first 2 years. Again, it's a true return of premium plan. There are no pre-qualifications to actually qualify for this between the ages of 40 and 49. It goes all the way up to 82, by the way. Also, the minimum face amount is $1,000. So you can write small little plans. The maximum face amount is $40,000. So there's a lot of wiggle room in between that you can write your clients. It's all done electronically via an e-app process with a verbal authorization at the end. And you can take all forms of payment, including direct express, credit, debit card, and checking accounts. So this is great if the second carrier I'm about to tell you about doesn't work. It is true guaranteed issue. You're going to cover anybody within 40 to 49. It comes in handy a lot. Now also, one I like to get my clients into, if their health is not terribly bad and they can answer all the questions, that is Guarantee Trust Life. Guarantee Trust Life is what I call a near guaranteed issue carrier. You see, there are health questions, but they're so nominal that it's almost possible to get most people in, and most people can qualify for it, that maybe otherwise would have gone to, say, Great Western in this 40 to 49-year-old range. It goes from 40 to 90 years old. The minimum face amount, I believe, is $2,500. The maximum face amount is $25,000 at all age ranges. The 5 questions on the app are pretty simple to get through. There's no prescription checks. There's no RX guides. The client just has to be able to answer everything honestly no. As far as the questions on the app, generally, what can you get approved with a GTL product that would be acceptable? Things like congestive heart failure, recent cardiac history issues, organ transplants that have happened several years in the past. Also things like not 24/7 oxygen use will work. And then a couple other issues too, cancer that's recently been cured or in remission. So this fits a really good niche and is used heavily by a lot of agents. So if you haven't found out about GTL, Guarantee Trust Life, check them out. You can go to my website. I'll leave a link below that will give you kind of a more detailed overview of the company. So beyond that, why use GTL? Maybe you're wondering, okay, what's GTL different from Great Western? GTL has a 50% death benefit in the second year, whereas Great Western has a 2-year return of premium. So if Guarantee Trust Life, if your client dies in month 13 and they have $10,000 in coverage, they would get $5,000 in coverage. Whereas Great Western would only return the premiums back plus interest, so very little. So it's a better deal for coverage for the client. And the price points actually is a little bit better with GTL than Great Western in most cases. So these two I really like for the 40 to 49-year-old range. Now what if we got a case that's younger? Now this is where it gets difficult. And when they're under 40, and this is how it's always been since I was a producer back in 2011, there's issues under 40 that get kind of hairy. But there are 2 companies in mind that I like to have that will work in some circumstances because they have minimal age range start ranges. So the first one is Liberty Bankers Life. Liberty Bankers Life has a neat standard rating that gets a lot of different health issues first day full coverage. I had a client, I think a year or 2 ago, who was in her 30s that had COPD. I got a first day full coverage with Liberty Bankers Life because they take COPD. They'll also take things like early insulin use as standard rate. They'll also take lupus as well. Kidney disease that's not dialysis is also possibly eligible for standard first day full coverage options. So some stuff that's not a knockout per se, but a lot of other companies that young aren't going to even touch them, right? Because a lot of these final expense plans cut off at 50 or 45 or 40. And then the last ditch effort that I would use for somebody under the age of 40 that is seemingly a guaranteed issue type of case would be United Home Life. United Home Life has a 2-year return of premium plus interest plan. It's called the Express Issue Whole Life. First of all, the interest on the return, it's 12% in the first year and 24% in the second year plus returns of the premiums. The health conditions, I can't remember off the top of my head. There's only like 3 or 4, maybe no more than 5, and they're pretty minimal. Check it out if you, again, you want to check out the application. I'll link it below and you can kind of see for yourself what I mean. But this will come in handy because the prices are priced right. The minimum face is, I think, $5,000, goes up to $25,000. And I think the issue age starts at 25 years old. So these are really good carriers. All 4 of these, again, to recap, Great Western, Guarantee Trust Life, Liberty Bankers, and United Home Life. All of them will do either face-to-face sales and over-the-phone sales too, by the way, guys. And they're just really good to have for a lot of different conditions. And I think if you're ever experiencing this, pick some of these carriers up, because this is a big niche where there's very few people that have the ability to help these folks out. And now with the carriers you've got, knowing where they stand, you do. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of training, I do daily videos like this all the time to help you further your mastery of selling insurance so you can help more people and make more money. Simply subscribe to this video if you'd like to. If you want to learn more about joining my organization and selling things like final expense Medicare and annuities, click the links above and below. That'll take you to an FAQ page where you can learn more. Hope you enjoyed this training, and we'll see you next time. Bye.